Good morning, YouTubers. Thought I'd show you my toad that I broke. Kind of a backstory. I don't know if you guys watched our quarantine in a Prevost. We ended up beating it home on Saturday and ended up, all four of us came down with COVID. And so I was knocked out pretty good for about 3 weeks. I'm just now feeling better. So thought I'd show a video of this, my truck. It's towed for our camper. We had an ice storm and school was delayed, so I took the kids to school. And coming out of our addition, there ended up being a sheet of ice and all four tires locked up, and I slid probably 300 feet and went down into a ditch. And it was about 3 feet down. And so my truck hit really hard. And it busted, bent up the bumper, and there's like 3 or 4 different components in there. And I had taken out my, I don't know where I put them, the tow hooks, and then this is what I plug my tow harness into in my truck. And so I'm hoping it didn't bend or dent any of that. So I'm gonna rip the front of my bumper off and work on getting it back together. I got all of my parts over here. A lot of them were back ordered, so I couldn't even get them. So all of my parts are in. I had to get a bumper custom painted to match, and I'm hoping I've got all the parts and pieces. The other thing that happened was I've got this cover for my truck back here, and the jolt ended up pushing it forward and it broke the lever handle on it. So I've got to work on pulling that thing back as well. Well, I ended up pulling my truck back in the garage. It's starting to sleet out here, snow, but I've got a new lever for my truck. This thing right here, when you push it, it's got a little lever that broke off, and it locks and keeps this thing sliding. So I got to, and then it moved this whole thing forward. So I'm going to take these bolts off on here and slide this back forward, and then I'm going to work on replacing that latch. Here's what it should do. When you press it, I can't get it. There we go. So it's got this little piece here that broke off. It's just cast aluminum. So I'll work on readjusting that real quick, and then I'll work on the handle. So I got the mechanism off. You can see right there where that piece of cast just sheared right off. Right there. So all I had to do is take apart a couple bolts. So now I'll work on getting that guy back in. All right, so now I got this new lock assembly on here. This, when you push it down, it locks both sides. Keep this guy from. So now we'll bring it back. I think this is where she's got to go. Right there. So now I can crawl in underneath, tighten the brackets back up, and then I'll get working on the front bumper. Well, got her all tightened up. I love this Retrax cover. You can lock this, you can lift it up. You can also open it to here, shut it. This thing doesn't move. This supports 500 pounds. So you just open it like a garage door, and then push this stuff in. You push this up. All you have to do is just take this lever, pull the door back, push it down, and she's good to go. Keeps it watertight. There's a Mike's Car Wash around here, and water gets in through here, which isn't anything to do with this, but that guy does pretty doggone good keeping all the water out. It makes it a nice clean look. So finally got that fixed. Now for the bumper. All right, so now for the front of the truck. I've got all my parts here, like I said, and I gotta start ripping into this guy. One more thing, I ended up getting, if you watch some of my other videos, I ordered a slide out. I wasn't supposed to get that till February, end of February, and I got it now. So I think I'm gonna do a quick video on all my parts and pieces and my ideas on that, but I gotta get this guy today. So I gotta start ripping everything apart here. And then see if I've got any frame damage. I think I just have some skid plate scuffs and stuff like that. Hopefully that piece is okay. It's just plastic. I don't know. It's all aluminum. It's real nice until you run it in a 3-foot ditch. So I'm gonna look for the bolts and start taking it apart. Well, I got a problem already. This fascia trim, whatever it is different than the one that I got. So the one I have's got big gaps in there, and that's where, when I plug into my camper, I mounted this guy. So this one is solid. So that sucks. I don't know if I'm gonna go much further or not. So try to figure it out here. Well, after getting the pneumatic gun in there, I got those 2 bolts off, and I think this bumper will come right off. So I gotta get underneath of it and hold it. So that'll be the next part. Well, I got the bumper off. Looks pretty crazy without it. The mounts for the Toad, right there, those 2 bolts in there are the original tie, I guess, or hook. And so you take this off, take the hook off, and then you stick this plug on here. And then one additional bolt or bolts, you've got to drill those 2 into the frame. And so I was kind of worried that the frame got bent, but I think it's fine. I think it's just this tab from when the dirt, when I went into the ditch, I just bent that tab a little bit. I don't think anything else really moved. So I think I'm okay. I was worried I bent the frame, but I think everything in there looks fine. It's just that tab on the front. So now I gotta work on trying to rip everything off of this bumper and get it back onto the new one. So that'll be fun. Well, here's my new bumper. Got it unwrapped. Got this from custom painted from a group on eBay. It looks pretty good. And here's my other one over here. So it looks like I need to get all of these braces and brackets and metal support panels. I need to get those transferred over to this one, along with like the lights and everything else. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Well, I changed my mind. I put that bottom skirt on first because I could barely get it off, and the bumper was bent before, so I ended up fitting that bottom thing on there. There's 16 bolts, so I'm gonna get those on next, and then I'm gonna put the brackets on. Well, found another piece I didn't get. On the other side of this bumper is some trim. I don't know if you can see it right there. This thing right here. If I'd known that, I would have bought it. I gotta figure out how to get all of those popped out so that I can put it back in here. And I've got these brackets out. And then I'm also having to take every single one of these off the old one and put it in the new one. So I've got something to screw to. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to pop those out. I think those were only meant to go in. Like I said, I would have bought it if I knew it was there, but it's what you get when you order when you're under COVID, I guess. So I'll do that next. Man, I got a mess out here. Well, it's possible to get this puppy off. Although these things can't be $10, so I definitely order one if you're gonna do your bumper. I'm gonna clean this guy up and then put it back on here. It's gotta go on before I put all these brackets on. So I got a nice little mess out here. All right, so I spent the last 30 minutes moving every single one of these little guys over. It took forever. That's another part to order, but I just never know. You never know what you're getting with these parts until they get here. I don't want to mess around with it because I'm not taking my truck to work like that. All right, so now I'm going to get all these brackets and the lights in. Well, I got it all put together, I think. At least all the parts that I have. So I'm getting ready to match it back up there. I think it's going to take a little bit of finesse with this guy right here, if I remember right. And then I'll get all those bolts up in there, get it meshed up nice. I got to figure out a way to mount my toad connector here to it, but we'll get it. So I'm gonna work on lifting that guy up there and then see what she looks like. Well, I got it mated up here. I gotta get it situated because that gap's way too big. But I've got these two bolts, the one behind and over there to do, so I think we'll be okay. And then I've got to figure out what to do with this guy. I think I'm going to order the right one. I just got to figure out what to do right now. So I'm going to work on getting the bumper lined up and then we'll get to that phase. But everything else looks pretty good. The one thing I did notice, this fascia trim, there's no bolt hole back there. So it's like the part manufacturers didn't line up right, but I don't know, I'll try to find some bolt and stick in there because it is kind of visible. So we'll see. Well, kind of my last step is to throw that thing on. The original one, I've got some sort of damper system down there for increased cooling, I guess. I don't know exactly what it's for, but the original one was like that. That's what I tried to order, and I got one that's totally blanked off. So I think I'm gonna take my multi-tool and cut these guys out right here for now and see if I can track down that part number and then rip this one off, put that one back on, and then I can mount my stuff back in there. So I just kind of stuffed it up in there for right now. So I'm gonna give that a whirl right now. Well, there she is, all finished up, except for that front piece. I ended up cutting it out with that multi-tool. I think that'll work until I find and get another piece, and then I can rip that out and change it. But glad that the toad is okay. So the sheet of ice didn't kill the toad. Just kind of broke her up a little bit. And then, as I showed you in the back, I got this guy all taken care of too. So we're all ready to go. We're gonna have another camping trip in middle of March. So just need to get everything back to go. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit like, help me out. I think I get like $2 a video, so maybe I can get $2.50. Thank you. Bye.